My ex kicked me out mid-road trip and now wants me to drive 2 states to return a watch he put in my backpack to test me. Original post. We were remote workers who decided to van life and travel while working. We lasted a month, until he became mad at how I drank coffee and told me to leave last week. I imagined we would pack and find out how to get me home. No, he meant I had to work it out in a New Mexico state park with all my crap. I rushed to pack and left. Afraid and angry. A kind elderly couple heard the screams and spotted me with a pile of items and asked if I needed help. I said yes, and they offered to drive me to Albuquerque in their RV while we decided what to do. They're the loveliest folks ever, so we decided it would be better for me to fly with them home to Kansas. Now they let me stay paying them incredibly low rent, food, etc. I merely need to edit the wife's book and help the husband play guitar. In the rush to pack, I grabbed my ex's watch. It was his dad. I contacted him to apologize, saying it was an accident and I wouldn't retain it. How should I provide it? I was told to meet him in Utah. That was absurd. I could send it to him. Too valuable to trust a man or FedEx, he argued, and wanted hand relief. Although I was in Kansas and not going to Utah, I would return the watch to his brother in March when I returned home. He replied no, so I had to drive it to him. I said I had no car. He suggested use one of theirs since you're probably banging half Lawrence. I then blocked him. I will return the emotional and precious watch. I got it by mistake. Is it my responsibility to return the watch to him as instructed? Wow, this exploded. For those inquiring, it's a cheaper Rolex. It has the original box and receipt from his dad, but it's worn, so he doesn't know how much it's worth. I'm guessing a few hundred, maybe 1,000. I won't keep or destroy it because it's not mine. Top comments. Comment 1 offered reasonable options. Say he reports you stole it to the cops. You have documentation that you asked where to mail it to him. He declined. Comment 2, he sounds psychotic. Always avoid meeting him in person. Avoid telling him your address. This dushery indicates a serious issue, and you don't want to be there when he short-circuits again. You were fortunate to find those people. Who knows where you'd be without that? Update. I blogged precisely a week ago. I lived in a van with my ex-boyfriend. My anger outburst got me tossed out and I rode with some great individuals. The watch was my ex's. Dad's and very sentimental. When I inquired where to ship it, he insisted I travel from Kansas to Utah and return it since I don't have a car. Many people gave mixed recommendations, but most recommended to contact his brother. Before that, I unblocked my ex to give him another chance to offer me a watch shipping address. Conversation via text. Me? Sorry I blocked you. I didn't like the insults but want her. Dad's watch. Tell me where to send it. No problem, I'll pay freight. Sub 30 seconds later, him. I put the watch in your purse to prove to myself you're a terrible person, and to prove me correct again. I was amazed that so many people in the article claimed he probably put the watch in my luggage as I was packing to force communication and a reunion. Indeed, you were right. I ignored his text and blocked him again. I don't want the watch, so I contacted his brother, who and his wife have always been polite to me. He was really grateful, and we spent a few days figuring out shipping, but the watch arrived on Friday and all is well. He even Venmo'd me $1,000 for being honest and contacting him. I told him it wasn't necessary because I make a lot of money, but he insisted, so we donated it to a Lawrence food pantry. But I'm still frightened out thinking about the day he kicked me out of the van and screamed at me, called me names, and planned to keep in touch. Slamming my belongings into bags provided cover for hiding the watch. I'm scared that he thought of it so swiftly despite its deliberateness. We got along well before we went, and he was usually nice. I'm not sure if the van's cramped quarters is too much for any pair, or if it brought out his hidden side. Sad and frightened. Yet glad it's ended. Relevant remarks. Comments he framed you? To show himself you were bad? He's foolish enough to believe his own. Frame job? Comment 2, I can't believe he's so ignorant. I don't get how this proves up's terrible. How was she meant to know about the watch when you kicked her out in a state she didn't know about until she got to safety? Possibly thousands of miles distant. You assumed she'd run back to you? Fuck him. Comment 3. His insane mind thought she was evil for not immediately returning it to Utah. He's mad. Next, tale 2. The son's conduct is creeping me out, but I'm not sure if it's indecent or cultural. Original post. Using a throwaway in case. I'm American and moved to Italy to babysit. This is essential since I haven't been able to discern if I'm struggling with a cultural difference in Italy, or if I'm weirded out. I can tell Dario is in middle school since he is several inches taller than me and his mom and weighs around 30 pounds more. I was able to tolerate some of the stuff that scared me when I first arrived and thought it was Italy. This includes calling his parents mommy and daddy in a baby voice nearly exclusively, fighting physically with his little sister over who gets to sit on mom and dad's lap multiple times a day, fighting with the sister over who gets to sleep with the parents, getting upset when mom or dad leaves for the day, whining about not getting enough kisses or time in bed kissing mom, and having his parents blow on chewed food in his mouth because it's too hot. I don't want to criticize something if it's usual. Here. It's fresh to me since I can't see any 7th grade boy in the US doing these things. Since it didn't affect me, I let it go. Unfortunately, I'm getting involved, which makes me uneasy. Our nearby windows allow the kids to look into my full room at all times. This seems inappropriate. How can I change clothes? I respectfully requested curtains and changed in the restroom to avoid appearing to sexualize or accuse children. A family member pledged to put up curtains after weeks without them. He simply put them in the kids' room. Since then, Dario peeks through the curtains at me several times a day. I'm sure he's checking on me or inquisitive about my activities, but it's unpleasant. I didn't want to notify the family because I was scared they'd think I was accusing their infant of spying on me changing, so I hung a blanket over my window. Staying at the kids' grandparents' place has been another concern. A room for the parents and one for me each has a bed for one child. I thought we would split up boys and girls and I would stay with the daughter, but Dario crawls into my bed at night. Sleeping was difficult due to discomfort. Since we're not related and he's an adolescent, my pals back home think it's unusual. Naturally, this is American opinion. I don't know if we're imposing our ideas on this family. However, if this is a cultural thing, I don't know how to tell the family that a boy that old sleeping next to me is wrong where I'm from. Especially because he's been watching me. Without problems. Dario frequently says it's too hard to do anything, therefore these actions affect other areas of our lives. Betting at 13? Too hard? Are you kidding? I often want to tell him to grow up. I need to know if he needs to grow up, or if this behavior is usual, and I'm the crazy American who needs to change. Is this 12-year-old conduct typical or immature? I think his parents still regard him as a baby, and he acts like it, but he mostly plays the baby act to get more attention. Can someone recommend how to tell the family this is abnormal? Edit. Please note that the grandparents' residence has 2 beds adjacent to each other. Dario was in the bed next to mine. I nanny a 13-year-old child whose behavior bothers me. I'm not sure if he's being rude or if my nation and this one have huge cultural differences. Relevant remarks. The freak. Standard conduct for a pampered 13-year-old. Most teens would love to see you through the curtains. The parents must stop that nonsense immediately. Don't you have nanny power to chastise him? Spanish culture is akin to Italy, so that's unsuitable. The parents are raising a bad child who will become an asshole who thinks the world should serve him. I'm so relieved to hear this isn't normal. Since his parents are sitting there, how can I criticize him in front of them? He's already acting like an asshole, but I didn't mention anything. He's usually harsh, critical, and ungrateful. His younger sister is a sweetheart, and appears more mature than him. Yet he insults every meal I make, treats her like trash, and likes ordering me about and telling me what I'm doing wrong. It drives me crazy. B186. We know this youngster acts strangely. But WTF that the parents gave the child privacy/curtains after your request. Oop, no idea. Some of their behavior is odd. This is TMI, but the mom knew I was on my period because I had to inquire where to get tampons and there was no trash can in the bathroom or my room when we arrived home. I requested for one numerous times and she claimed she would get one but never did. When I asked last, she responded, well, the kids have a trash can in their room if you need it. Like WTF, are you not an adult lady not understanding how this works? Do parents discipline kids? During my interview, they indicated they don't have to punish the youngsters. I should have recognized the signal. The mom is rigorous, so they're good in some areas she values. Etiquette, cleanliness. When Dario picks on the daughter, they let the kids yell and weep until I intervene. They seem to welcome Dario's nasty comments because he phrases them sweetly. Being courteous and helpful is not my job, but I will break my ass providing a meal for the family. After eating 4 dishes, Dario will say, why would you cook this like that? I'll explain, that's how we make it in the US, and he'll say, I didn't enjoy it, the Italian method is superior. Then put his plate on mine for me to take to the kitchen and go. I like this part, but not the cooking. Just insult, clean my plate, goodbye. He enjoys criticizing. Does the child have autism? I considered autism, but when his parents are gone, he acts like any other teenager, albeit manipulative and critical, I've ever known, and I've worked in childcare, the classroom, and as a coach for years. Hello, I'm back after 3 to 4 months with an update. In conclusion, I quit. For those interested, the long version. Curtain. Problem. In my last piece, I mentioned hanging a blanket for privacy, and since then no one has peeped. I requested curtains twice more, and was informed the curtain man will hang them in my room. He returned to hang more curtains in the kids' room, but not mine. They didn't like him and would hire another curtain guy to hang my curtains. Despite 4 months without mention, I still use the blanket. My vacation issue is that I refuse to go with them. Since I'm off on weekends, I've decided to avoid seeing them from Friday night to Monday morning. On weekends, I sleep on couches and sneak into my room while they eat. Things like that to avoid people on my days off. The Dario issue. Dario remains immature. I've grown to like him and learned to cut his roughness. His outlook and kindness have improved, especially since his mom is often away and he's with me daily. I am positive and have worked hard to get him to mingle and speak nicely. He seemed to have regressed to childlike conduct. Sitting on laps, kissing and sleeping with a parent when the other is gone are still his habits. Babies chatter constantly. Constant. For instance, he enjoys repeating mutilated word syllables. Pasami un cuchillo, his dad says. Give me a spoon. He will clap and say, IEO or void del aqua, you want water. He'll leave. He now eats like a newborn. He'll use the huge spoon to sip the remaining tomato sauce from the pot, get it on his face, and suck on his fingers. However, his parents look at him as a charming baby trying to use a fork and get food on his face. It's awful to watch and listen to him at 13. He doesn't lock the bathroom or shower door, and he sobbed the other day when his sister sat on his bed because he doesn't want objects touching his bed. I started locking the door when I was 7. The parents yelled at the daughter for baiting him, saying she merely wanted to tie her shoe, and that Dario will be furious all night. He hasn't made any progress with friends and has started playing League of Legends, so he won't leave his room or do anything with me or the sister. Sad, really. The mother has been the hardest part. She's mentally insane, I won't say more. And I feel horrible for everyone in this house who has to put up with her. The power-hungry, envious, resentful woman needs expert help. I went home for Christmas with friends and family and discovered how unhealthy it was. Most nights I drank to escape the house. My nervousness from knowing she was present kept me from sleeping well. Even though I'd done nothing wrong, I was screamed at daily. Leaving home in the US made me miserable. I told them I had to return early for medical reasons. Not entirely false, I'll leave the last week of March. See her post here soon, they found a new gal. I quit, homies, get me out to here.